So he's going to be talking to us today about selling more packages and selling Cutco kitchens.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly. Can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. Thank you all so much. It's really just such an honor to be on the call here. As I was looking through just the powerful people on this message and on this group, I just thought back to how many of you I have personally learned from. And I mean, in all facets of the business, Rob with business gifts, Josh, I mean, Curtis, working directly with Chelsea and Maria. I mean, there's so many powerful people in here. So I just want to express my gratitude to start with for having me on today. The first thing before I really get into the nuts and bolts of closing on packages and how I frame the Cutco kitchen, I really want to talk about two things revolving around mindset. And the first thing I'm going to ask each of you, just actually give a show of hands here. How many of you work for a knife company? Raise your hand. Any of you? Sorta? Couple? Awesome. You all pass. Carlton, maybe not as much. We're gonna have a talk later, bro. The first thing that I really wanna hammer home here is to stop treating Cutco like a knife company. Because when we treat with our clients, when we treat Cutco like a knife company, that all that focus goes to our customers for us selling knives, and then our tertiary or secondary products are like cookware, flatware, accessories, and outdoor. Instead, it's time to really step into new identities. And for most of you didn't raise your hand, so it was super awesome to see that. But it's time to continue to improve on that identity that you are all sales professionals for an all-inclusive kitchen company that specializes in 5 key pillars, which we're going to go over in just a minute. So second thing that I would invite each of you to stop doing is stop selling yourself short. So if we're really honest with each other and we're honest with ourselves, fear is truly the only thing that's holding you back from closing packages, from selling Cutco kitchens, from creating the massive business gift orders. You might say, no, Justin, it's not fear. I'm not afraid. I just don't know how to do that. I don't know how to create a big business gift order. Well, when we say things like we don't know how to do something, we're automatically stopping the possibility that we can figure it out. Instead, and that's all just a fear that's appearing real, false evidence appearing real. The real answer to that is say, okay, currently I might not know how to, but what I do know how to do is find Cutco Rob. And Cutco Rob knows how to sell business gift orders. So I invite each of you that in any of the areas of your business, especially around packages, business gifts, kitchens, stop saying and allowing fear to control you and to stop your growth of expansion there. Fear is what has caused you not to reach out to somebody that's already doing it. And it's been a big case in my life. The times that I've said to myself, well, I don't know how to do it, so I'm not going to. It's all a fear. It's a fear that I might not look professional. It's a fear that I might mess up in front of a customer. It's a fear that I might look silly in front of my booth partner, my teammate that day, or that I might fail, or I might screw up a sale. You know, the reality is it's just false evidence appearing real. I know each of you have heard that, but I just want to stress that. I usually start my messages with mentality just to get our minds thinking right and to invite yourselves just to continue to grow. I shared this last quote, and then I'm going to get into some nuts and bolts, I promise, but I shared this quote with my events team and my division and region over the summer. The time, and I'd love each of you to write this down, really internalize this. It's a quote that I refer back to every single day of my life, every single day now. The time is now to step into the version of yourself that your heart and your soul has been yearning for. The time is now to step into the version of yourself that your heart and your soul has been yearning for. Now, take for that what you mean. We can break that down. I think you all know that what that really is pushing you to do. So going back here, treating our company like an all-inclusive knife company kitchen company from the beginning, whether that's with a Cutco owner or a new customer. It's oftentimes, in my experience, more difficult to start with the knife set and then upserve our way up to cookware and then upserve our way up to flatware and then upserve our way into the kitchen. It's oftentimes more difficult to do that than just starting with the kitchen up front and working your way down. And a great analogy for this that I thought through was, I think about like a rock climber. You know, there's different anchor points when we're rock climbing, right? Some of you have rock climbed before, some of you have not. When you're imagine that you have a customer with you, right? And your goal is to reach the top of this mountain. You're both going to climb together and you're going to reach that first anchor point. Well, that first anchor point in our business is typically the knife set, right? It's the knife set that makes the most sense for them. So we can work our way up there. Most of us can take that first leg pretty easily. So we get anchored there, and then it's the upsurf time. It's time to move up to the next anchor point. So again, we're still fighting gravity, going uphill, having to pull a customer along to that next anchor point. Once we reach cookware, flatware, it's time to anchor them up to the next one. So a lot of times you're just fighting this uphill battle, and most of us are so tactical and skilled that we know how to do it this way, and we can, but I just invited myself to ask the question, is there a better way? I believe the switch that I made that is the better way is just setting the framework from the beginning as early as possible in the conversation to let our clients know that we're an all-inclusive kitchen company. And to flip back to the analogy, what that's been like for me is flying with a customer in a helicopter to the top of the mountain. And instead of having to climb and hit all these anchor points, we're going to stay at the top as long as possible. We're going to talk through concerns. We're going to make sure that they know this is an option. Here's why it makes sense to get our full kitchen lineup. Here's why you should do this today at this event. And then if it doesn't work, instead of really climbing, all we're doing is rappelling down to the next anchor point. So it's much easier to rappel with that client down because the closer we're getting down to the bottom, the easier it is. Hope that makes sense for the analogy. Instead of fighting and working uphill to hit those anchor points, we're able to rappel down with the client to where the end goal is to touch the ground. We sold them a Cutco kitchen. They're happy. We're happy. It was an easier process. So Ms. Jones, just so you know, and there's a bunch of different lines that I'm going to use. Kelly didn't know this, but I'm going to share. I'm going to send out any of my notes here that has all this verbiage. It's not in any specific particular order in the script, but most of you can figure this out and learn how to incorporate that into what you're already doing. So Ms. Jones, just so you know, Cutco is oftentimes known for the knives, but the reality is we're an all-inclusive kitchen company that specializes and is built on 5 pillars. And I always hold up my hand to the client. We're built on 5 pillars: knives, cookware, flatware, accessories, and outdoor items. And I invite each of you to set your booth up to actually reflect that. I heard Rob mentioning having the no knife display out, something that I've incorporated as well. You know, I think about how oftentimes, and you know, everything is evolving and each of us are evolving at our own pace, but we used to have all these display boards that were just all these knives where it filled up the whole booth. And then you kind of had like 2 business gifts tucked in the corner. And then you kind of crammed all your cookware in one little section. Maybe you have a flatware chest out, right? So what that is like showing your clients, whether subconsciously or consciously, is that our biggest specialty is knives. And while that may be the case, when we're building this new identity for Cutco and for ourselves and our personal business as an all-inclusive kitchen company, everything needs to take the same type of value and the same amount of real estate. So I want a nice knife section. I also want a full cookware section. I want a full flatware. I want full business gifts. I want a full outdoor section. And the analogy here, I love analogies. So most of you haven't ever heard me speak, so bear with me here. It just helps paint some pictures. You know, imagine going into an Apple store and all you see is just tables full of iPhones, but then maybe tucked back in the corners like 2 laptops and a MacBook like desktop. And then in the other corner, you have like an iPad section. You're going to start like internally even believing that Apple is really just about iPhones and that's it, because that's what their clients are seeing. They're seeing the majority of that. So think about that for your own booth display when you're setting this up. What I do, using the Apple analogy, really segues into how I frame our Cutco kitchen and how our products all work together. So I share with Ms. Jones, just like Apple, who started with a simple computer, Apple is now a tech company who specializes in consumer electronics. Everything works together, it syncs together, it meshes together perfectly to create the best experience for the consumer. Well, Ms. Jones, with Cutco, we're the same way, using the same ideologies. except we've been doing this for close to 75 years. Our complete set, our legacy cookware set, our forever flatware, our accessories, they're all used in conjunction to create the ultimate experience in the kitchen and to provide our clients with American made, forever guaranteed products that will last them a lifetime and save them time, money, and energy. So what I've now done, and you know, I realize there's some people that are not Apple fans. Some of you may not be Apple fans. Regardless of that fact, customers know Apple, they know MacBooks, they know iPhones, they know they're starting to at least learn, you know, our older customers, how stuff syncs together. So what this is doing is really painting a picture that, you know, Apple didn't start the company just to sell an iPhone or just to sell a MacBook. Maybe they did, but the way they've evolved is having an entire product line that works together. Well, we have the power to influence our customers' decisions and perspectives around doing the exact same thing. And the reality is it's true. Our flatware has the same diamond pattern as our thermoresin paring knife. So it's already been done. How good of a job are we all doing at actually showing that to customers, that this is the end goal? This is what every single one of our clients is after. You know, I'll typically ask some cool questions early on, since I don't go straight to knives like right off the bat. So I'm curious, Ms. Jones, what brings you by the booth today? Were you looking specifically for a new knife set, looking at cookware? I saw you checking out the K-bar. Cool, just stopping by, whatever that is. I addressed that. Awesome. Well, hey, I know I've told you a little bit about the company so far. Is it okay if I show you how this stuff works? And then after going through the pitch, after, you know, a lot of times I still start with knives when it comes to when I get into selling, but I let my customers know that it's not, hey, we're a knife company, I'm maybe going to tell you about some other stuff. It's, hey, Miss Jones, I definitely want to tell you more about the kitchen. Most of my clients find it easiest just to start with the knife set. So I'll start there if that's cool with you, and then I'll show you the other stuff. So it's pretty low key. And then, you know, I'll say something along the lines of, not sure if you knew this, but, you know, the knives and complete set, Miss Jones, that's really just step one of three of what we offer for a client's home. The other two steps are cookware and flatware. When we combine these three, we have what is called our Cutco kitchen, which again, Miss Jones, is really the end goal for every one of the clients that works with me. So that's another way to phrase it. Ms. Jones, I'm going to just go through my my notes here. There's different verbiage and a lot of it sounds similar, but I'm just going to share it with you. So just really to tell you, you can incorporate this throughout your entire process, either at the beginning, midway, or at the end. So Ms. Jones, just to let you know, I know we've discussed the knives and we found your perfect set. I want to let you know that because of your investment in the signature set, you automatically unlock our exclusive Cutco kitchen invitation here at the State Fair. See, Ms. Jones, the State Fair is the largest, most amazing, whatever adjectives you guys want to describe there. So Cutco authorizes us to do some things that you're not going to see anywhere else. I'm not sure if you knew this, but Cutco is known for the knives. However, the knives are only a fourth of our product line. Over half of my clients will tell you their favorite package to bundle with the knives is our line of waterless cookware. Now, Ms. Jones, you're not still using nonstick, right? And then I'm going to lead into my cookware pitch. It sounds like the team has a new speaker next week that's going to be teaching some cool stuff around that, so you can incorporate that there. So I share why that makes sense. By the way, Ms. Jones, when Cutco created the Cutco kitchen, we knew that our customers did not want to have the absolute best knives in the world, yet still cook their meals in cheap, non-stick pans or use silverware from a bargain store. So we created this in mind to help clients fully furnish their kitchen with all American made or sourced, forever guaranteed tools that work seamlessly together and provide an experience unmatched by any other brands. In a way, Ms. Jones, it's similar to what Apple has done. You have the iPhone, which syncs and works with the iPad and the MacBook and the Apple TV and your Apple Watch. Everything was intentionally created to look sleek, to be innovative, and to work seamlessly together. We've done the same things with our kitchen. Your knives, cookware, flatware all work together and provide an amazing experience in your kitchen. However, unlike Apple, you don't have to upgrade every 2 years. You invest once with us and you're done. So Ms. Jones, I know we talked about the cookware. I'm going to show you what sets we have. I'm also want to just take 60 seconds and tell you about our flatware, and then I do a flatware approach. For time's sake, I don't have time for that, but I can send that if you all are interested. Just for fun, I'll send it anyway. All right, awesome, Ms. Jones. So I know we love the complete set. The cookware and the flatware, we're like, okay, this is cool stuff. We'll see what it comes down to with price, right? Is that kind of what the read I was getting from you guys? Awesome, cool, no worries. If we want to just start with the complete, no big deal. I at least want to show you the kitchen because literally it just makes sense here. But if we want to just do the complete, totally fine. Awesome. So let me show you how the kitchen works. Obviously, this is our premier offering at the fair this year. And just to be transparent and upfront, it's not cheap, okay? I think you already guessed that though, right? So keep in mind, I'm not going to ask you to take a second mortgage out on the house, sell your car, like donate a kidney. I'm not going to do any of that. But what I would like you to be thinking about, Miss Jones, is this. How much money, I'm going to get more serious. I'm going to change my tonality. How much money have you already invested in your kitchen? Consider the cost of your refrigerator, your dishwasher, your stove, your microwave, your blender, countertops, especially if you have granite or marble. Also, Miss Jones, factor in the cost of every knife, every pan, every fork, every ice cream scoop, you name it, every kitchen utensil that you've ever bought before. Are you with me? Okay, cool, Miss Jones. So, you know, we're up in like the tens of thousands, right? So, and by now looking over the course of your lifetime up to this point, not to mention all of those things I just shared with you, Miss Jones, will eventually have to be replaced again, right? It's not like our stove's going to last us 40 more years. I hope it does. I hope your fridge lasts you 50 more years. Chances are it's not. So whatever number that we think we've spent up to this point, Miss Jones, we need to double that. You with me? It's a big number. I know it's scary, right? Cool. So here's the Band-Aid being ripped off, Miss Jones. Here's our Cutco kitchen. I'm going to grab my binder. I know you all have a binder that you use, either Vast Action or possibly Mike Dowd's, whichever one that you prefer. Vast Action shout out to Mr. Josh since he's on the call here. So Cutco kitchen, 12K, our traditional event pricing, we'll call it whatever it is, 10, fair exclusive 9, whatever the numbers are that you guys are using. Now, Miss Jones, what Cutco allows us to do here makes this an absolute no-brainer. What we do is allow you to split up your kitchen over 5 equal months. That way you're able to lock in the fair pricing up front, because the fair doesn't go on forever, right? If we lock in the fair pricing up front and you're able to budget the rest over the fall, when you'll likely be cooking and using everything the most anyway. In other words, Ms. Jones, this is called our Easy Pay because it allows you to take advantage of our premier option, but not have to pay in full the premier price. Now, Ms. Jones, here's the cherry on top. Every 2 years, Cutco has a price increase scheduled for September 1st, just to account for inflation, rising costs of materials, especially our steel, the thermo resin I shared with you, obviously the Amish grade furniture oak block. Well, right now, we're scheduled for a price increase September 1st. So not only are you saving X amount today off the top, you're also saving an additional, let's be conservative and just call it 3%. Well, Ms. Jones, 3% of 12,000 is like 360 bucks. So we're saving in total over 3, 4, whatever numbers you guys are using here now versus waiting. So here again, Ms. Jones, there's the recap of what you're getting. You're getting the complete set with the full-size steak knives. That, of course, and comes with the shears, the cutting boards, everything there. We're also getting our legacy cookware set, which has every single piece of cookware that we make. That way you can donate or throw away your old stuff. You're getting the forever flatware, including the 12 stainless table knives, the chest, and the 6-piece accessory set. You're also getting your Take Back Your Drawer collection, which includes all 5 gadgets, your 9-piece kitchen tool set, and your barbecue tool set. Walk through what they're getting. Are you with me, Ms. Jones? Yes, yes, cool. Awesome. So you're getting, let's call it $12,500 worth of stuff for only $89.99, or roughly $1,800 today. More importantly, though, Ms. Jones, You're investing in yourself and your family. You're investing in an American-made company that provides thousands of jobs domestically. And you're investing in something that you're going to actually use every single day for the rest of your life. The last thing I'm going to say, Miss Jones, and I promise I'll shut up, is to just help you guys finalize this, is that you're going to get me. Now, I'm not a brag on myself type of person, but I will tell you this. I've been with Cutco for 11 years now. I've sold over $2 million worth of this stuff. More importantly, I have over 4,500 clients who I've personally done business with me, and really just who I take care of. That means you and Mr. Jones both would be joining my Cutco family. You'll have exclusive benefits towards service that most clients aren't able to take advantage of. You have my personal cell phone line for when something undoubtedly happens and you need help. I'm just a text or a call away. And you get to hear from me monthly with my newsletter, recipe guides, or special promotions. In other words, Miss Jones, I take extreme pride in what I do. So Miss Jones, knowing the value here, also knowing you didn't come to the fair just to invest in your kitchen, I also think it's fair to say that you can see why this option really still just makes sense. What do you think about doing this? What do you think about going big, doing it over 5 months, crossing kitchen stuff off the list forever, and joining my Cutco family? Cool, let's do it. That's it. That's what I got. And then obviously we drop down from there as we need to, but that's an example of just how I walk through the kitchen, how I walk through the clothes, how I build up the framework, and that's what I do.
Oh my goodness. That was, I'm so glad I got to hear the back half of that message, Justin. Like I told him, I texted him and I was like, man, I only got to hear the first 15 minutes. I really wanted to hear the end of it. I'm really glad that I did. Guys, first of all, the Apple analogies are so good because everyone knows Apple. And more importantly, everyone knows Apple is a premium product, right? It's expensive. You're not like, oh yeah, we're that, cheap cell phone. Like we are the premier company. The way Apple is the premier tech company and you pay a ton of money just because it's Apple, that's what Cutco is, right? We're setting the framework of that. Everyone knows Apple's biggest strength is its ecosystem. It's all of the things that work together. That's why people love Apple. That's why people love Cutco. Just the way that Justin talks about it, it's like, it's clear, get the personal concierge service from me. It's clear that this is a premium. It's clear that this is a high-end brand. This is not just like, do you want to spend $3,000 on knives? It's like, no. Listen to the way he talks about the kitchen and how much money you've already spent in your kitchen, and you're going to do it again and again, and I love that. Not just the knives, but the whole kitchen, cabinets and counters and fridges that do nothing for your actual cooking. That was fantastic. Awesome. I want to know who else has a question for these guys.
I got a good question for Justin. So Justin, you talked about rappelling down versus anchoring up. So when it comes to the Cutco kitchen, I mean, I'm doing the intro right away, and then I go into the knives. And do you use the Vast Action sheets where you go back to like the bundle deals and show them that, or like how are you presenting the kitchen right away? Or are you typically closing on a set and then showing them, the kitchen?
Yeah, so great question. So no matter what I'm going to close them on, even if it's one of those clients that's like probably going to buy 1 or 2 knives from me, or like a small thing, no matter what, it's a standard now that every single customer of mine is going to see a Cutco kitchen as their first price that they're going to see, no matter what. And they're still going to see it under the same analogy of how much money we spend on all the kitchen stuff that we have to buy. And then, if I really don't think that they're like willing to do that right now, or that's even a possibility, I'll still show it to them and I'll say, hey, this is not something that you guys are definitely like committing to getting, but I just want to show you what's really possible with Cutco, because again, everyone knows this for the knives, but they don't really, and I know we're just talking about 2 or 3 more new pieces now, but they don't really know what's possible. So I at least want to show you what's possible and what our premier option is here. And then I'll give you the exact price on the homemaker set or whatever it is smaller that they're looking at. So no matter what, it's only going to help us close the smaller orders too, because again, we're starting at a $12,000 or a $10,000 or $8,000 package. And the longer we can stay there, you might have somebody, oftentimes you'll have somebody like, oh, we kind of saw the cookware but didn't know much about it, or when did you guys get into forks and spoons? And they'll say that one little thing that'll give us that trigger that, hey, they might only be interested in 2 or 3 more kitchen knives, but here's a perfect time that I can jump into this flatware now, or a perfect time I can intro this cookware and then show them the bundles there. But yeah, I'm going to show that not at the very beginning. I don't have it close with me. I have my iPad that I sit in front of me now, and it just has a Cutco kitchen on the iPad, and it's like literally right in front of the cutting boards, right in front of where I would stand and talk to the client. So subliminally, they're seeing the Cutco kitchen, but they're not seeing price yet. And I just want that to be the first price they see.
Okay. All right, Roger, what's your follow-up question? Go for it.
My follow-up question is, how do you handle, since you're price anchoring really high, the people that just will be essentially scared away? Because I've noticed sometimes those are the same people that always look at Cutco, but just continuously always tell themselves, well, I can't afford that because they're too expensive. So how do you handle that from them being like, well, damn, I definitely can't buy these. And then they just sell themselves forever that they can't afford Cutco. So I'm just curious how you handle that.
That's an awesome question. As I was looking back to my notes, I forgot to mention a line when I was talking earlier about mindset and the fear. One of our fears that we all have is, we're scared to start high because we might scare that like 3-piece or that 5-piece or that intro package away. So the first answer to that question is, I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay starting high and starting with packages and working that way if I have to miss somebody. I don't want to miss them though. I don't want to miss that small customer. So what I would do is, if they're like, oh wow, like this is way out of our price range, this is more than, gosh, I knew this stuff was expensive, but I didn't know how much. I say, well, Miss Jones, hey, before you leave, I know that just keep in mind, I just showed you the most expensive option that our company even offers. And just so you know, that's not where we have to start today. As a matter of fact, most of my clients are not going to start with the kitchen today. A few will. If I do my job really well during the fair, several are going to, but a lot of them are not, Miss Jones. A lot of my clients, matter of fact, are going to start with a few pieces to really fall in love with Cutco, and then they're going to build to that over time. See, there's also a progression where if a client doesn't get the full kitchen up front, they'll start with a few knives, and then eventually they'll upgrade to the set that they want. And then once the knives are taken care of, then they're going to look at cookware. And then once the cookware is taken care of, then they're going to look at flatware. And guess what, Miss Jones? Long term, they still end up getting the kitchen. They still end up getting the same value. But if it's okay with you, could I at least just show you like one of our entry level packages that I think really could be a win-win for both of us before you leave? Awesome. Let's show, and then I'll just basically, as you guys can probably tell from my tonality and the way I do it, I'm so freaking low key at the booth. I'm a massive introvert. So like, I'm just so calm and casual. I'm not a huge excitement sales guy. So I think my clients really just feel that trust, and they're like, okay, this guy's not like the sleazy sales guy, so that I can get away like doing things like that. So where I'm like, hey, just keep in mind, Miss Jones, I just showed you the most expensive option that we even offer. Is it okay if I at least show you something smaller where, possibly you could say yes today? And Roger, the last thing I'd say to it is, if I still lose that customer, like I'm okay doing that, because I just want to hold myself to such a high standard of showing everyone the kitchen that if I lose a few small ones now, I'm okay with how much more that I'm going to do and how much better like the overall event's going to be, and how many of those clients that end up getting, even if they don't get a kitchen, they get a 2 combo package or whatever it is. I'm just okay with that. Some people might not be okay. I'm okay with that though. But that's an awesome question.
Love it. Marissa, looks like you have a question.
Yeah, and it's also follow up from that. So this is kind of perfect, I guess. So same, very similar note. How do you transition the people that come from like, or replacing a table knife or a paring knife or past customers in frame of mind that, again, we might have lost if we just show them that big thing. Like, it's probably a similar answer, but I'd love to just hear how you package it and transition.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. So I think, you know, as you all are all aware, there's moments in our at the booth where we just really do need to take the order first, right? Like we need to take the table knife order and write it up, and then promote what's else and what's possible. There's also moments where you know what, I don't really need to do that. So you can still climb the rock wall if we need to, and that was kind of why I shared that with you. Like that's still a possibility if we need to. But to really answer your question, I think back to we control the frame for our clients. Now, most of our clients that are not ours, they haven't heard our kitchen. They've not even worked with a sales professional. They bought from the college kid. They got whatever 15, 20, 50 years ago. Their mindset is they have a homemaker and they have everything, right? And you all know that. You have the clients that are like, I have a studio set. I have everything you have. And like, you have 4 knives. Okay, cool. So what my job is, how I feel like I work best is I'll take that client and I try to meet them where they're at, right? So they feel like they have everything. I explore what that is. Okay, awesome. So yeah, you actually did have everything that we made 30 years ago. Just to let you know, since you came up to the booth, have you even seen Cutco in the past like 30 years? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so excited. Like just to let you know, we're not even a knife company anymore, Lisa. Like we're an all-inclusive kitchen company. And I basically just frame right there. So they're like, well, we don't need any of the other stuff. We just want a table knife. Hey, totally cool. Let's write you up for one. Grab it, write up that order and say, hey, just for fun, you don't have to get any of the extra stuff I'm going to show you, but can I at least tell you like 30 seconds about our cookware and flatware and like kind of the vision that Cutco has really created now for our clients? If not, totally cool. Like you're getting a new table knife, yay, but can I take like 60 seconds and just give you a quick overview? And that's kind of my goal, is to make them feel comfortable, meet them where they're at, get a yes to where it's like, okay, cool. I like this guy enough and I trust that this guy's not going to like high pressure sell me, that I'll at least let him give me his spiel. And in my spiel, I want to provide as much value and as much like vision and expansive thinking to where they're like, well, gosh, I didn't really know you did any of this stuff. How much is this? We're probably not going to get it. How much is the cookware? That's all I want. I want that little bit of like, well, how much is it? We're not going to get it, Justin, but how much is it? Because I just know that there's a door open now. It might not be fully open, but it's at least cracked where I can meet them where they're at, build more value, and then see what bundle or option we can create from there.